of parents in a student's education. When a child is born, his parents become his first teachers, his mother a symbol of love, and his father a pillar of strength. As a child grows, his parents send him to a school or any educational institution. Today, we are here to discuss the continuing role of parents in the advancement of their child's education. On the panel today, we have Dr. Ashwini Belgankar, Dr. Anwar Mujawar, Lieutenant Colonel Prakash Narhari, and Mr. Deepak Daruti. The moderator for today is Mr. Biplov Belwal. I now request Kshitij Maheshwari to introduce the panel.
Maheshwari. I am here to introduce the members of panel. I would like to introduce the first member of panel. Colonel Prakash Narhari is an alumni of reputed Navroji Wadia College, Pune and University of Pune. He holds master's degree in mathematics. He was commissioned into Army Education Corps of Indian Army on 11 June 1998. While serving in the Army, Colonel Narhari has achieved vast and varied experience in school administration and management. He has been the staff officer to the chairman and chairman nominee to various army schools. Under the Army Welfare Education Society, Ministry of Defense and various Kendra Vidyalayas under the Kendra Vidyalaya Sangathan, Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India. He was also selected as the founder principal of Sainik School, Kodgadu. We welcome you, sir. I would like to introduce the second member of panel committee, Mr. Deepak Daruti. Mr. Deepak Daruti is the managing director. Mr. Deepak Daruti is the managing director of Server Controls Aerospace India Private Limited. He has graduated from KLE Institute of Technology, Belgaum, with degree in mechanical engineering. Presently, Mr. Deepak is focused on installation of 100% export-oriented 60,000 feet modern aerospace manufacturing facility and intends to convert available entire 550,000 square feet space into manufacturing hub at Hatargi near Belgaum. He is actively associated with Jain Association of North America, New York and USA, and various educational and spiritual institutes across the world. We welcome you, sir. Now I call upon Vinay Khoda to introduce the other members of panel.
My name is Vinay Khoda and I am here to continue with the introduction of the other members of the panel. Our next member is Dr. Ashwini Belgankar. Dr. Ashwini Belgankar is a psychologist with an MPhil in counseling psychology from Columbia University, New York, USA. She is currently a consulting psychologist at the Air Force Base, Samra. She has a private practice at Hinwadi, that is Crossroads Counseling Center. She has expertise in psychological IQ and aptitude testing. She is currently pursuing doctorate in psychological from Karnataka University in the area of adolescent academic achievement. We welcome you, ma'am. Our next member is Dr. Anwar Mujawar. Dr. Anwar Mujawar has an MBBS and MD in general medicine. He has also done research from the University of Missouri, Kansas, USA. He has worked with the doctor of the American Olympic fencing team, Dr. Tuttle of Cleveland Chiropractic College. He is a visiting professor of general medicine at Cleveland Chiropractic Medical College. He is also working as a consultant physician in the Department of General Medicine at KLE's Prabhakar Kore Hospital and Medical Research Center, Belgaum. Thank you, sir, for your presence. Now, I would like to introduce the moderator for today's discussion, Mr. Biplov Belwal. Mr. Biplov Belwal is a passionate teacher, a business leader, an entrepreneur, a sportsman, a sportsperson, and a motivator. By qualification, Mr. Belwal is a BE Honours Computer Science Engineering from Premier Government Engineering College. Mr. Belwal has a postgraduate diploma in management with specialization in systems and finance from T.A. Pai Management Institute, Manipal. As a passionate teacher, Mr. Belwal consults and conducts workshops on soft skills, self-esteem, and motivation for students. In order to convert his passion in education field, he started an educational society in Belgaum called PeopleTree Education Society. As a business leader, Mr. Biplav Belwal works in Broad Vision Incorporation as Director for South Asia Pacific Operations. His mega project with Indian Railways has won the prestigious award of IT project which made the maximum social impact in India in the year 2005. Thank you, sir, for your presence. Now I request Saima to felicitate our guest. Now I request Mr. Biplav Belwal to take over the discussion.
And a warm welcome to all the parents who are here today. The whole idea of doing this panel discussion is to kind of hammer in certain concerns and their solutions that we as educationists have regarding the well-being of your children. Since you have reposed a lot of faith in the organizations and institutions by sending them to us. So we feel overwhelmed that there is such a great responsibility that is expected from the institutions. At the same time, we know that the children are getting smarter, they are getting more and more clued to what's happening around the world, they are much more articulate. So we know that at one end there is this human species that is evolving, and at the same time we have our current infrastructure and the system which is trying to support their needs. So in between this, there is this whole responsibility thing as to if you have sent your child to the right institution, does it mean that he is set for life, or do you have some continuing responsibilities? So we have some very esteemed people in the panel today, and I would like to elicit out of them their thoughts, which could be, I feel, very productive for us to really look at this relationship. This is a tripartite kind of a relationship between parents, institutions, and the child. So I'll start with Ashwini ma'am. Ashwini, what do you think has really changed from the time that when you were students to the time now when we are parents and we have a very different breed of students? So where do you see that that evolution that has happened in terms of their understanding, or maybe in terms of good and bad things that are happening?
I think the technological I think as Biplav rightly said, the technological revolution has just changed things completely. Just to give an indication, normally every century there is something called a technological midpoint which is declared. I think in the last 100 years, 1992 was declared as the midpoint technologically. So in the last 8 years, 92 to 2000, the rapid change was equivalent to the change that took place in the earlier 92 years, and that pace has quickened and is far more rapid even today. So as parents, we are bewildered. We really don't know how to handle this change. We are very impressed by our own children. The way they can handle the computers, the iPhones and the iPads. We are very impressed by them. But at the same time, we are also afraid of the impact this technology is having on their young minds. And the power equation has also changed. Unfortunately, what I'm seeing in a lot of families is the power, normally in our generation, the power was very clearly with the parents. Whatever our parents told, whether we liked it or we didn't like it, we used to listen to them. But now things have changed completely. We find ourselves listening to our children. Do the parents agree? Yes? No? Yes. And that is putting us in a very difficult situation. We find ourselves taking decisions which are against our own values just to keep our children happy. And the price that we are paying to keep them happy is, we still don't know what the price is going to be. But somewhere, I think as parents, we are ourselves very confused about our own value systems. What is it that we want for our children? Do we want them to be, having great careers? Being, what values do we want them to follow? I think the first thing as parents, we need to be clear about what are our own value systems. I feel as parents, we ourselves are a little confused about what we want. We ourselves are unfortunately in the race towards materialistic pleasures, buying a bigger car, having a wonderful holiday, and in all of these values that we are chasing, then we get upset when our children make demands of buying a better phone or a better bike. But somewhere I think we also are not maybe setting the right example. The motto of simple living, high thinking is fast disappearing. So I think, and what parents normally say is that I cannot control my child, because if my child asks for a cell phone or asks for a bike, all his other friends also have that. Now, when we say that society is changing, society is made up of you and me. We are all members of the same society. And I always honestly feel that parents as a group, we need to come together. Otherwise, we are going to lose our children in a morass of materialism and lack of values. And I think it's very scary for Indian society as a whole. And I'm observing a trend which worries me personally, that things will really go awry. They may be successful, they may make money, but will they be happy if they don't have a grounded sense of self? So I feel that parents need to get together, for example, PeopleTree, your parents, and all of you decide certain common rules so that not one child will complain. Otherwise the complaint is, well, this child is allowed 24 hours of internet, this child is allowed a sleepover, all my friends are allowed this, and why am I not allowed? And that is why then parents yield to the pressure and give in. So I think if all the parents get together and form certain common guidelines, and I think you should know the parents of your children. And children won't like hearing this, I know that, I'm sorry. But I think it really helps if you know the parents of your children's friends, and have similar values. If you decide, we will not allow this for our children, we will allow them this, then it will be easier for you to enforce discipline. And discipline is an extremely important part of raising a child, because at this age, when they're young, they're 16, 17, they believe they're adults, but their cognitive development has not yet completely taken place. So they believe they are adults, they believe they can take right decisions, but in reality they cannot. They still need you, they still need your guidance. And it's easy for a parent sometimes to take off the responsibility and say, बच्चा बड़ा हो गया है, उसको क्या करना है वो समझता है. वो नहीं समझता है. He still very much needs your guidance, he needs your support, he needs you to set limits, he needs you to set rules and to motivate him. I can go on and on, but we have other panelists here and I would like them to also speak on this.
Thank you very much. I think some of the very interesting takeaways. One is there is a technology breakpoint. Technology suddenly exploded, and the kids have so much of exposure, whether it's through social media or through mobile phones being available. There is this sense that these kids are very, very smart. Of course, they're smart. They're able to take in knowledge, regurgitate that. But as the psychologist ma'am here says, that probably from a cognitive sense, the decision making is not all that developed. So while we may be very impressed that they are already set, I think the role of the parent still needs to continue to really tell what is right, what is wrong. That the child speaks very good English or is able to relate certain things is not the end of it, and therefore the discipline really needs to come in. The other point that I think for me is a big takeaway is for the parents to themselves form some kind of, the guidelines to say that this is do and this is don't for the entire community. And I think at PeopleTree we are just trying to do that. We are trying to involve as many parents as possible into, trying to collaborate with the society, come and talk to the other parents so that we all understand what are the common issues that we are all running aground to. So Colonel Saab, coming to the issue of discipline, what is right, what is wrong, and to be able to enforce that on young minds. And these are all smart kids. They believe, as ma'am said, that they know what is right, and we're not there to dispute that. We're just saying take it with a pinch of salt. How do you deal with these adolescents, fully charged dynamites, so to say? How do you really manage to discipline them?
Coming to the word discipline, I personally feel in today's world, these children will teach the parents what discipline is all about. But being an army man for last 25, 26 years, I very strongly believe when it comes to the role of parents within the pretext of discipline, there are 5 key areas which parents need to pay attention. First, right time. We all know that my child is supposed to reach the college at 9 o'clock. So there is a line drawn what time he or she is supposed to get up, what time he or she is supposed to get out of the house, and what time he or she is supposed to reach the college. Right time plays the most important role in disciplining each one of us. Get up 10 minutes early, and you see how the world changes for you for that one day. I'm a very strong believer of it. After taking this parameter out, time, the next most important point is right dress. Is my child going to the college in the right dress prescribed or authorized by the college? Many of us know it, but still we are just keeping our eyes closed on this issue. So I will request all the parents here, particularly the girl child. In today's scenario, it's very important for the parents to monitor the dress code of conduct. Otherwise, half of the problems which we are buying today or which we are facing, it's because of the dress part. Third, right time, right dress, right place. To ensure that our child is disciplined and we as parents are disciplined, we have to monitor whether our child is reaching the place where he or she is supposed to go on a particular day at a particular time. And in this particular area, I would like to compliment PeopleTree that there is a serious system of monitoring in PeopleTree. If the child doesn't reach the college, there is a call going back to the parent ki why your child has not come, which many colleges are not doing it today. Coming to the fourth and the most important again, social networking. Times are out, joint family system was there, so there were many elderly people present in the house to monitor the youngsters. But now, nuclear system has crept into each and every family. Now, where is the time available with the parents, particularly if both of them are working? Result is, there were olden days when someone used to wait outside the house to receive the child, whether from school or whether from college. The door with the lock to them. So there is a serious lack of interaction and serious lack of monitoring from the parents' point when it comes to receiving the child back home. Hence, social networking is playing a very important role. But how negative the social networking is playing in our lives. In my experience, I have seen A interacting with B on social network. A telling B, I am studying in so-and-so college. The day A tells I'm studying in so-and-so college on social networking, next day there is C standing outside the college of A. And that C is following A. Now the C is a male gentleman and the A is a girl. Now all of a sudden when the A sees C following first day, second day, third day, involvement of parents or involvement of some elderly member depending upon whom that A has got faith comes into play. Now that particular, say D, asks A, why don't you speak to B? Did B give your reference to C? A answers, sorry, since the day this gentleman has started coming outside my college and following me, I am out of cut with B. Now, understand the involvement of various agencies to solve this particular problem. The net result is, because of we being indisciplined through social networking or social media, there is imposters creeping into our life, and this imposter is creating a sense of insecurity in the child's mind, in the parent's mind. So, fourth point, be very disciplined when it comes to social interaction. And finally, right education, or I would use the word right degree. In today's scenario, we have been interviewing so many people for last so many years. We always select a candidate with AIM plus. Nobody is interested in AIM. Nobody is interested in AIM. Everyone knows if in case I am MSc Mathematics, I am fit for teaching mathematics. In addition to being MSc Mathematics and teaching mathematics, what else can he help in my organization? That is what I mean AIM plus. So take a decent degree, and towards this, parents monitoring is a must. मेरा बच्चा कॉलेज जा रहा है, टाइम पे जा रहा है, सारे क्लासेस अटेंड कर रहा है, नोट्स पूरे कर रहा है. We are all lazy about, in fact every child is lazy about notes today. But still, as a parent, we need to monitor till the time the child doesn't stand on his or her own legs. Time is such. To reiterate, I will reiterate these 5 points again to the parents as well as these young generation. Right time, right dress, right place, right social networking, and right degree. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I think these are extremely potent, points if someone were to follow them. They're easy to follow, they're not very difficult, and also it helps you to really keep a tab on what's really happening in your child's life. Now I'll move on to Dr. Mujawar. Sir, you have spent a lot of time in the US, and you know that it's a very individualistic society there. People really decide things on their own. It's the East versus West. The East is more, family oriented. West is more individualistic. Do you see those trends really coming in India? Do you see that the children are becoming more and more independent? They're demanding more, say in decision making. What do you see really happening? And then how should parents deal with that?
Well, at the outset, let me thank Mr. Biplav, Mr. Saundatti, and Mr. Desai for having me today on this panel discussion. Like you talked about comparing the East with the West. Yes, I have lived in America for about 15 years, and when I saw the last skit about people going abroad and not coming back, I certainly do not agree with that, because there are two examples right here in front of your eyes. That is Mrs. Ashwini, me, and also we've all returned from the US. Yeah. As for comparing the East with the West, well, in the West, while I was there, I saw a lot of children making their own decisions and sticking to their decisions, and parents supporting the decisions that they have made. But what I see in India is that the parents impose certain things that while the child is growing up, they want the child to become something. We always tend to compare our child with a neighbor's child, saying that, look, a neighbor's child, he's so intelligent. I mean, he's, come first to the class. Look at you. What have you done with your life? You don't study, you just want everything, and you should be like him. So we always tend to compare our children with the others, and I guess we shouldn't be doing that. In the West, nobody does that. Everybody is to his own. I mean, I don't, we might call that selfishness, but I do not agree with that. Here, what we do is, when we compare the child with the neighbor's child, the child becomes rebellious. He doesn't want to, become like the neighbor's child. He says, it's me, myself, and I. I am going to lead my life. Why are my parents comparing me with somebody else? Why do they want me to become something like him? Why don't they understand that I am not capable, or I am capable of even more than what the neighbor's child is? So what happens is, when you start comparing your children with the other children, then the outcome that you see in your child, it starts going down. That's the first thing we have to learn, is not to compare. And the second thing that we tend to do is, we have a mindset that either your child has to become a doctor or an engineer. Beyond that, we do not see anything else. Well, there are so many avenues open now. There are so many fields that have come which can make you more successful than doctors and engineers. Let your child decide for himself. I mean, he's mature enough to think for himself, because he's the one who's going to live his life, and to a certain point, yes, you are going to play an important role guiding him. You are going to guide him for the rest of his life, but then when it comes to making a decision that what he wants to be and how he wants to shape his life, then you have to give him the freedom to do so. This is what I have seen in the West, and this is what I see in the East. So anything more that...
Yeah, so I will come back to you in the second round on the follow-up questions. Now, the next question is experience, with the youngsters that are now coming in the job stream. What are the things that strike you about this new generation? What are the great things about them? What are they really good at? And what are some of the things that you would like them to possess more in terms of qualities or...
Yeah. First, I really thank the PeopleTree management to calling me over here. First, I want to know in all this audience, how many people come from the business background? जिनके अभी businesses है? Okay. और कितने पेरेंट्स चाहते हैं कि अपने बच्चे इसी बिजनेस को आगे लेके जाए? See, whenever there is from my HR department, I interview almost around 2 to 3 people every day, okay, because we are putting up expansion plant and all that. So whenever children, especially you said these are all from the commerce background, so I will focus on the commerce background. So whenever these commerce background children come for account post, or for the senior accounts, or for finance, or for excise, export imports, and the most important is the statutory things, okay? I find today children, they do BCom, BBA, and come to us for interview and all that. And whenever we ask them, what is your past experience, or what you have learned in your education system that puts you to be employable in my company, because I will not be paying you 10,000 initial salary just for having you here, then put you. So always we prefer the experienced people. But to make an like a BCom or BBA, graduate people employable immediately, the first the child should understand, if they are having their own businesses, I prefer them that they go and sit into their shops, factories and anything and learn whatever the subject they are interested, because that is the easiest platform available for them to learn many things. So at least they will understand what is sales tax, what is excise duty, what is SENVAT credit, what is the service tax. And second important thing, the today children, they are very flashy. They know only the surface. They don't go in depth. Like I say, you should be jack of all but master of one. You should have that basic skill set. Okay, like for everything, even for a BCom graduate now, there is a tally package is there. Everybody learns tally and comes. But now every organization has its own ERP system and all. So these all children should understand what value they are going to add if I go into that system. And second important thing is, nowadays we see that everybody is after becoming chartered accountant, because the demand for chartered accountants is so high that, and they keep on, I have seen so many resumes coming from BCom background. They do articleship and wait for 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, and till the age of 32 also they are not settled. अरे क्या कर रहा है? मैं CA का एग्जाम लिख रहा हूँ. अरे you already lost valuable 7 years. नहीं साहब, अभी माँ बाप डांट रहे हैं, शादी कर लो, नहीं तो घर से बाहर जाओ. You know, so what is very important for the children over here is, there is an internet media, education, whatever the syllabus is there, but they should also know the financial value system, what is adding. And now that RBI is giving so many banking licenses, so there is a tremendous demand for all the financial coming from the BCom graduates and everything. There will be a huge rush, so they should prepare for it. And one more important thing I want to tell these students is that since we have a lot of projects in steel rolling mills, paper industries, a lot of aerospace technologies used into the steel mills and all, and I see the people from Bihar, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh and all that area, Bangladesh, yes, West Bengal, the hunger, those kids have got so much of hunger because they come from a very poor area and all. Their working capacity, their hunger to learn, their hunger to top, and these kids have to compete with them in UPSC exams or whatever the upper posts and all. And our kids, I feel they are very satisfied. They have to have that hunger that I will do it and all. And if that hunger is there, they will learn all that. And Belgaum kids I have seen, they are very happy-go-lucky kind of a thing. They don't know what is the outside world. They think this is the world and all. So that they have to build that skill set and hunger so that they will learn fast. And they should also know, most importantly, as a commerce graduate, what is my city's budget, how much my area budget, what it is, whether they are spending or no, that social, this thing. These are the practical things they should know. And if they are having their own business, whatever their papa, mama or a lot of parents are there, whoever is telling, they should take it and take it seriously, because they tell out of experience. You cannot read the accounts book and do profit and loss account or balance sheet. It is the real thing which is available for you, so you have to take advantage of that. That's what I want to tell them. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Exactly what Barack Obama is trying to tell all Americans. That while you guys are busy having fun, there are these Asian kids in China and India who are readying themselves to take away your jobs. But I think one warning bell that has come from Deepak is that if as parents we are going to make life very easy for our children, the hunger that is required for them to succeed may be completely satisfied, so there won't be any hunger. So coming back to you, sir, you have your own children. So how do you balance between the expectation that you have from the institution where your child goes to versus your own responsibility towards the child and his growth? So how do you really balance that?
Well, it's a competitive world now. The parents hardly have any time for the children, or the children have, hardly any time for the parents, because they're more involved with the college work. I mean, they come back at about 5 in the evening, then they have to run for the tuitions, and once they come back from the tuitions, I mean, it's pretty late. So what we do is we sit at the dinner table. I mean, that's the only time that we get, and so that we can discuss. So once we are sitting at the table, the rule that we have made is each child, or even for that matter myself, we have to tell them how your day was, what you went through, what did you do, and how useful were you to yourself. So we, at the dinner table, that's the only time we discuss. And then we also, whenever I get the time, I also go to the college where my son or daughter is studying, to keep a tab, not exactly a tab, to just inquire as to how he's progressing in his studies. I mean, whenever I go to my son's college, my son is embarrassed. He says, Dad, why the hell do you come to the college? I said, why are you embarrassed? No, I mean, you have a mobile phone. There's something called a mobile phone. You can call the principal. You can talk to him. Why do you have to keep, account of me, or why do you have to spy on me? I said, it is not like that. I mean, it's just that we want you to see, we want you to be successful in life. That's why we just come. We don't ask anything. We don't discuss any personal issues. We just want to discuss as to how you're progressing in your studies, so that we know where, if you have any weak points, we can improve on them and see what your weak points are, so that we can make you a little strong. So it is very important that you have time to discuss with your child, and I think there's no better place than the dinner table. Thank you.
That eats together, family that eats together sticks together. So it's very important for you to find family time and discuss what's really going through your child's life. They might be under tremendous peer pressure. They might be undergoing a lot of challenges. They might be getting bullied for all you know. There might be other issues. So it's always, you need to involve a little bit more with your children. Sir, again, I'll come back to the discipline issue, but a little bit away from that. My question is that when it comes to really discipline, same question, how much percentage should the institute be willing to absorb, and how much is the responsibility of the parents? So for example, there is a personal life of the child. The child would like to hang out with friends and would like to have his own social evenings. Till what extent should the institute be responsible for their actions, and where is it that their boundary stops?
I personally feel personal life should be totally different, and life in the college, which is academic life, should be totally different. There should be no comparison with these two issues first. But when it comes to personal life, there are many problems in the scenario what we are all facing outside. And every youngster has got some or the other problems. But here the role of the parents is very important. I know my child has got problem A, my child has got problem B, my child has got problem C. But I as a parent is not taking the institution into confidence with problem A, problem B, problem C, then this problem is B and C will give rise to many other problems. So it's very important here for the parent to take the institution into confidence and explain this is the problem which my child is facing, and I expect you people to take care of this particular area. Coming to the academic life, if the child is not coming to the expectations of the college in whatever line they have drawn, I think there is a need for calling the parent and counseling the child as well as the parent, and if time comes, show the exit door. Because you cannot spoil the college environment or the institution environment for a child. Because in the process of handling one child, you cannot sacrifice many other children, because the faith, the confidence of so many people is vested on your organization. So I personally feel both these areas should be kept separate and handled as a separate entity. Coming to the most important point, as in today's area, the child wants to go have a ball, have a get into party mode and everything. If the college is good enough to take on the responsibility of this particular area, the college should intervene and take care of that. But if the college is not confident that we cannot take care of this particular area, it's better to shut the door for all these activities and never get involved in these things. Because these are the problems which are either spoiling the college name as well as making the parent involved into unnecessary things in the college. That is what I feel so.
Right, thank you very much. I think this is a dilemma for somebody who is an errant student, is doing something wrong. Do you end up punishing him and showing him the door, or do you try to kind of, get them into the system, try to, modify the behavior? So that's always a challenge, because it's a greatest good for greatest number versus this individual that you could potentially reform. So what do you think of this? This from a dilemma that the college has. The real support system for the college is parents. So how should this be kind of solved between the parents, and what kind of effort is required from the parent side to kind of help reform this errant student?
Right. Yes, this is a situation I often face, because colleges sometimes approach me. There might be a student having behavioral problems in class, and then they'll send them to me for counseling. It's like it was mentioned earlier by you only. It's a tripartite effort: parent, child, and the teacher. It is very difficult, because very often I think it's best to involve a third person outside of the system, because teachers have their own biases sometimes about a student. And teachers at their level do try to help a child by mentoring, maybe trying to listen to what the problems are, and sometimes the problems, if they are really beyond the realm of the institution, it is best to seek outside help. And that should stay confidential very often, because what happens is, it's a problem I face. If I have to give feedback to the institution about what's happening, there are things revealed by the students to me which I may not want to share with the principal or with the teachers, because somewhere the boundaries of confidences are betrayed. It is hard, I agree, for an institution to kind of handle children with behavioral problems, but I think the best we can do is to seek help at some level. If we can try and help them at the college level, that's great. But if it's beyond that, then one has to seek professional help with consent of the parents, because ultimately it's the responsibility of the parent.
Right.
I think the duty of the institution is to just inform the parents that this is what we're observing about your child in our college, and it is causing problems, so please take action. So I feel sometimes the responsibility lies more with the parent in terms of seeking help, other than the institution. The institution's responsibility, I feel, should be just to alert the parents that there is an issue. And maybe you can suggest some alternatives to them, but the ultimate responsibility for helping in this problem would lie with the parent. Because we can't control the environment, and very often the problem is due to environmental issues in the house, which the institution cannot control. If the problem is at the institution level, the institution can do something, but if it's at a parental level, the institution can't do anything. So then the parents have to be more proactive and take steps to help their child.
And we have some instances, sir. We have some instances also where the parents themselves have given up because the child is completely out of their control. So again, the question, maybe you want to answer it later, is...
I will just add one point to what ma'am just said. I mentioned that every teenage has got his or her own problems. And I also mentioned that there is a very important part on the parent side to take the institution into confidence. Now here, the role of the institution comes into play. Once as a parent, we have gone and we have spoken to the institution that this is the problem areas. I request you to take care of this particular problem area in respect of so and so child. I think the institution needs to take their teachers into confidence here. In our college, we have 4, we have 5, we have 6 such cases, and case study has to be drawn in respect of each, because everyone doesn't have any problems. There are only a few cases, and to do a brainstorming session with case studies into the organization is not that difficult. And once the faculty members are taken into confidence, they will play a very important role in bringing a positive change in those children. So I would request, if this kind of activity is being done, fine. But if in case it is not being done, there is no harm in trying it out. We will be contributing to the society in much more sense.
Yes. And coming to you, Deepak, we have similar employee relations problems. Sometimes we do have employee relations. Some employees are very difficult to handle. Now, maybe you want to help us to kind of compare and contrast how what you do in an organization may be a replicable best practices for the institution.
Yeah, for the institution, it is important, like as we are moving into the more professional ethical management is one of the most important thing which has to be inculcated. ऐसा नहीं कि पैसा फेंको सब कुछ होता है. Those days are gone. Thanks for the new government. Okay. So the thing is, those days are gone where you think that सब पैसे से होता है और चलता है. Those days are gone. So fortunately, we have a very good a lot of key clients, especially when the kids, because that culture has to come, because this is the raw material with which you are going to build the nation. And if the raw material itself is bad, even if I go on Rolls-Royce or Mercedes-Benz or BMW, and if I am going to spit on the road and all, or think that कुछ भी चलता है, as long as I have the power, those days are diminishing day by day. So about the culture, that how you deal with the employees or the things, like for example, it's a very tough day nowadays to find good teachers for any institute, because teaching is always considered as the last profession. So for every institute to get a good teacher is a big battle. Okay, so teaching that profession now, as I see, because there is a lot of think tank and all is going on, like all the teaching profession and all is to be considered at IAS or UPSC level now. So they are going to bring it to the administrative level, where there will be teachers will be more quality education they will be imparting to the students. And also it becomes very important for every teacher, whoever is there, has to be an ideal person for the students, because how the faculty, like if I take any good institute, they are recognized by certain key professors, key people. So the institute also should work which have gained that reputation, so that they will become ideal for the children, and also they will inculcate those culture into the system. That is what it is.
Yeah. Thanks, Deepak. We're running out of time, but I would like to open, the panel to some of questions that we'd like to entertain from parents. So I will need Johan's help. Any questions that you would like to address to the panel can come from parents and could also come from students, if they would like to.
My name is Divya Tirani. I have a question for Deepak, sir. Sir, I'm a commerce background student, sir. I'm in 12th standard. I'm in PU2. And sir, I have a dilemma in choosing my career, sir. I am stuck with CS and CMA. Actually, people say CMA is a very difficult course to do, and it has no options, or it has no scope outside.
Okay, you mean to say CMA is, that is computer management,
Sir.
and CS is?
CS, company secretary, sir.
Oh, okay. Oh, very good. See, costing, because actually, as we are talking, we have an advertise. You go on our website, we have a cost accountant requirement, CMA requirement, and we hardly receive any resumes from this part. So we have to go to Bangalore or other places and hire the students. So in coming days, CMA is going to play a vital role, because everybody is after the cost cutting. And India, as the Nara is like made in India, the bottom line is how to compete with China. Like today we celebrated Ganpati here, but 2,500 crore rupees business went to Shangzhou in China. So their Ganpati started 4 months back. Now we have a Durga festival there. Their festival already started. They have 50 containers have already landed in Calcutta port. Okay, so what is very important is the cost accounting is going to be a very important challenge, because cost accounting is not just take the price and minus it and all. It's about the domain knowledge, because cost accounting is a very wide subject. You should know which field, whether it will be a commodity, marketing, industrial, aviation, service sector. It's a huge field. So I feel CMA is going to be the future for the students to choose, and they can go to a very high level into that. Yeah.
So actually, opinion of my parents regarding this decision is like, this year CMA in the intermediate course, from all over India, only 19 students were passed through the examination. It was 0.82 the results were. So sir, taking such a challenging course, is it worthful? Is it worth to it?
Yeah, that's what, it's an emerging field. Like earlier when they were asked to write the COBOL software in engineering colleges, the percentage was everybody failed. Only 1 or 2 students failed, and today everybody, means it's an emerging field. So, but by the time you come to that graduation level, maybe in another 2 years and all, definitely, and nowadays because of tele coaching and all that, you can have a better future, but you should have a passion for it. Yes, I'm going to do it. That hunger, passion, yes, why can't we do it? Like we build in Belgaum drones actuation system. Who has thought it 12 years back or 15 years? When I talked in Montreal, I remember in 12 years back, I'm going to design a drone system in Belgaum. Belgaum, show me in the map. Even that our Google map was not there. So it is, what I mean to say is, in another 2-3 years, this is going to have a big surge, and you will get a lot of better coaching and all that, and I think you could be able to pass through. Okay?
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
My question is to all of you who are here, basically the students. How many of you know about it? That science guys, they do about commerce? No one. Sir, my point is, why can't we make this before? That in 10th, we can let them know that this is the field you can go. So my point is that parents should come to know, they should not draw them back. And when the defense thing comes, they are like, you are going for a war, no need to join defense. Sir, can you just explain to the parents? My question is for the parents.
Okay. If I understood the question with whatever clarity I could hear, the confusion in the minds of parents is, if you join army means straight away war, right? And negativity hits. Why should I send my only child to the border and suffer? Firstly, I have served the army for 24 years. Except Kargil, I have seen nothing. And even Kargil, we all know, we have heard enough of it. It happened. So right from independence till date, we have fought only 4 wars. Don't consider Kargil as a war. These kind of things keep happening at the border every day. Even now, when the entire JNK is flooded, still militants are trying to sneak into the valley. First, army is a very good profession, very, very disciplined profession, very clean profession. the only hitch here after the youngsters join army is they start comparing their army life with job satisfaction. You won't get job satisfaction into the army the moment you join army. Second, joining army is just not NDA. It is just the first step towards joining NDA. Now here also what I could hear from you is only a science background child can join NDA. No, it's not so. Even an arts background, that is someone who is doing 12th arts or 12th commerce, can join NDA. The only issue here is a paper in UPSC entrance examination, that is mathematics, is compulsory. And the syllabus is the same for whether the child is from arts background or commerce background or science background. And the entire syllabus of class 11 and class 12 mathematics is covered into the mathematics paper there. So if the child can make up this particular part, absolutely no problems. Otherwise, after graduation, he or she can join. After post-graduation, he or she can join. After engineering, he or she can join. Even if the child joins the Indian Army or Navy or Air Force as a Johnny, even there is a provision for him to become an officer. And one more entry is there that is called as technical entry. After class 12, science, the child can apply for technical entry. So there are many ways. And another one way, if in case you're a C certificate holder, there's a direct entry into the army for C certificate holder. So there are many ways. You need to do your homework. And coming to the parents, what this gentleman was trying to say, don't worry. Your child will be safe if in case he or she joins the Indian Army or Navy or Air Force also. Thank you.
I see that parents give importance, or even some students, they say we want to go to science because they can become engineer or a doctor. But I am a commerce student and I wanted both my children to be, even after first class also, I put my son in commerce and my daughter, she has just passed with 54%. And I've asked her to take commerce. So sometimes they think that parents have made a wrong decision. You could have given a donation and put us to science college. So I want you to make the students understand today how wide the line is there in commerce and what all they can do in that. It is not a question, it is just a problem, I can say.
Just to rephrase, you were wanting to know how you feel that we should try to convince your children that commerce was the right decision?
Yes, ma'am. Because still they regret that you could have given donation and put to science.
Right. Okay. One personal thing I'll say, my son is in PU1 and I have put him for commerce myself. He did very well in his 10th standard. But I personally feel commerce has far more options compared to science. This is my personal opinion. Science is wonderful for people who are genuinely passionate about the subject, who really love physics, who love chemistry, are very good at math. There has to be a genuine inclination and interest to do well in science. We see thousands of engineering graduates, not all of them do well. 70% people who do engineering don't end up as engineers. Right, so after 4 years of engineering and doing 2 years of PUC science and struggling through it, when you're not good at it, reduces your child's confidence. I feel that if your child is not very good or interested in science, let him do something which he enjoys. It could be commerce, it could be arts, and he'll do very well in this particular area. His confidence will improve, his self-esteem will improve, and he'll be a better person. If you put such children in science and they don't do well, you're damaging their confidence, you're damaging their self-esteem, and they may not do well in their life either. So I personally feel commerce is a wonderful option. It's the way to go. If you look in Delhi, SRCC 100% is the cutoff to get into Shri Ram College of Commerce after the 12th standard. It is so difficult to get into commerce. If you go to even Bangalore, you should be very, very happy to have chosen this field of commerce and management. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, one thing I would like to add to whatever Madam said here. I am dealing with 11th and 12th students on daily basis, and I am involved in motivating them. In my college, only science stream is there is no arts and there is no commerce. But still, what I have been educating my students there is, wherever your interest area lies, choose that field. Because ultimately, the child needs to be happy in future. So the most important thing is where his or her happiness lies. So let the child choose the area and the sector what he or she wants to choose. Let's not intervene and interfere in her choice. And let's promote and help them in building up their choice and their career. Thank you.
In Belgaum, especially commerce graduates, like why she asked this question, maybe I think there is a background. Because in my school also, those days, in 85, when we passed out 10th and all that, whoever got the lesser marks, they go to commerce. Best cream used to go to science. And Gokte College of Commerce is one of the exception why she must have asked, because whatever the students went there, they never were in the classroom. They were all on the road only, socializing. And still today it happens. So, but now the time has changed. And the level of commerce has not just this economics, accounts and all that, it has gone to a different level altogether. To pass even in a distinction and first class in MCom or BCom is getting tougher day by day. Story, you will realize, we were in other day in Gandhi Dham, and we were sitting, there is a big think tank from the PMO office. And PMO was asking some select this thing, and I was also called in that meeting. And हमने ये बनाया, ये हमारा ये है education. That's why he talked in the शिक्षक दिवस. And there is a lot of think tank going on. The most important thing is we need the skill in every field. So the skill set is very important. Let him start even at the college, let him go to chartered accountant and start working 2 hours in the evening, so that by the time he graduates, he is employable. Employability is most important, skill set is most important, and every field is now par with each other. And even in industry also now, even the senior accountants are getting as good as salary as the engineers. Because engineers actually salary level is little lesser because the availability is more in place like Belgaum.
Right. So I think the answer here is that if we are still swayed by what historically was a fact, that engineers were in demand, then we have this conflict whether we should send our kids to commerce. But I think after the liberalization happened in India many years ago, there's so many jobs that have opened up in the area of commerce. Even if somebody invents a new technology, finally it needs to be commercialized. So there is commerce. There is an element of commerce every day when you pay money, receive money. So I think there is no end for the jobs for commerce graduates. But as the lady pointed out there, some of the courses can be even tougher than engineering. And if you look at engineering, the pass percentage is close to 90%, 80%. But CMA, she mentioned it was 0.08%. So the more complicated that particular course is, the more value you have. So there's nothing wrong with any discipline. I think finally it's the interest that someone has and the way you apply that particular skill to make economic gains. So, yeah.
I mean, choosing science, commerce, or arts, we as parents, we make the decision. But what I have seen in the West is, at the school level itself, the teachers are trained to identify as to what the child is good at. And when they see that the child is good at math, they start giving him advanced, mathematics so that he gets much better. And for that reason, the school appoints counselor. About 10 children have one counselor, and this counselor keeps a tab on these children as to how they are progressing and to see how he can, further develop their interests and make them, really good at that subject. That we lack here. Here in our schools, we are taught only to memorize stuff. we learn history and we have to memorize those dates and all that. How useful are they going to be in our future lives? How are they going to help us? Our day-to-day lives. So we have to change the pattern of education here. We have to have counselors. We have to see what the child is interested in and train him according to what he wants to become, or what he wants to take up in future. So this should be at the school level itself.
So I think we are running out of time, but thank you very much for your closing statements. Deepak just reminded me that now it's not about commerce or technology. Now is the time for e-commerce. So it's technology which is marrying commerce. So I think it has to go hand in hand. Thank you, Deepak, for that wonderful thing. And thank you so much for your attention. Thank you for your patience. And thank you so much, panel of people. Thank you very much.